Welcome to California, the homeless capital of America. Nearly 200,000 homeless people reside in the Golden State.
It's way worse than Minnesota.
This was bought with taxpayer dollars.
And here's the thing: is somebody got a kickback for this facility right here. And the problem is I lived in LA. I lived in a bad part of LA. I lived in a decent part of LA that got bad. But I know about all the homeless scams that are going on and how they just wash their money, and it's like all about kickbacks and everything. In my new place, it's like a walkable community, kind of a quiet college town. It's good. But then they're like, let's build this giant homeless shelter in this abandoned like office park or whatever. They're all about it, and then they discovered city council was being corrupt. They voted yes for the homeless shelter, but it was all because it was going to be kickbacks to members of city council. So then they got rid of it because of the corruption. But now everybody on Reddit for my new city is saying, okay, now we got to figure out how we can make this homeless shelter. And it's like, didn't you guys just realize it's not about serving the homeless? It's about kickbacks for our politicians. And on top of that, it's just going to make this community like LA. Like if you guys have, bleeding hearts and you want to, do your part in your community to serve the homeless, go move to a community that serves the homeless, and then tell me if you want that to happen here, because they're just naive.
Obvious fraud. What the hell is going on?
Mayor Bass needs Skid Row for her to get federal money, but the reality is
Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. Good to see him over there. I think he's gonna be the next governor.
fix this if we want to.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that never occurred to me.
Welcome to California.
We just had a whistleblower from inside of the homeless industrial complex.
So you believe homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens?
So
yeah, 100%. I believe they were being converted into housing units for illegal aliens. Like, wasn't that what the controversy in New York City was for the Roosevelt Hotel? I might have said 100 billion. I meant 100 billion.
rallying protesters to come and surround us.
This is what LA looks like everywhere. Not just this street, every underpass, every ditch, every overpass, every single intersection looks just like...
It looks like Elysium. You have millionaire movie stars and business people living in their ivory towers and abject poverty on the ground. Everywhere. Music kind of loud still? Okay, hold on. We'll just cut the music for this. This is too much.
This. You have been lied to. Gavin Newsom, the governor of this state, says that homelessness is down, that he's fixed homelessness. And he said...
And also remember, when they said they fixed homelessness, it wasn't fixed homelessness. They had more homeless deaths than new homeless. And they were barely outpacing it. Like, there was what's the number? Like, I'm making it up. Was it like something like 7 a day? It was something insane like that of them overdosing on fent. They're all gone. And they're like, oh, we solved homelessness.
Records to make the state better. This is a lie.
Here's a police officer
who is trying desperately to engage with these homeless drug users in their filthy hovels that seem
And this is why when you call 911 in LA, it's like an hour hold time.
Like they've been here for
and this is crazy. All like liberal friends that I know are flabbergasted at the idea. I called 911 and I got put on hold. I couldn't get in touch with anybody. It's like, yeah, you've been living in a bubble. Just because crime hasn't happened to you specifically doesn't mean crime isn't rampant. But here we have a squad car. It's like one of the SUVs. I'm guessing there's 2 officers dealing with this right here for the criminally drug-addled insane, but nothing for you.
years. This is a choice by the leadership of California to allow this to happen in your neighborhoods.
Because it's the homeless industrial complex. You allow this type of poverty, this type of suffering, because there's a lot of kids here too. It's a travesty, but they allow this because they can wash billions of dollars to God knows where.
The politicians are handcuffing the police officers, not allowing them to enforce the law. They're choosing this because people have businesses here. Look.
Hey,
People live here. Why would they allow this? Why are those officers helpless?
What are they doing
Because
over
of
there?
Gavin Newsom
Like
and the
5
Democrats
of them?
in California. And in this video, we're going to unpack all of it. We're going to prove why the Democrats want to continue the homeless industrial complex.
Yes.
The billions of dollars spent in this state, $24 billion spent on homelessness. It's $170,000 per homeless person.
And mind you, the reason that homelessness the number went down is because they changed what they do to count the homeless. It's like they just juking the stats. They didn't make robberies go down. They just started to take reports of robbery and break them into smaller crimes. Like I'll tell you all the time. One of my employees got robbed at knife point in the parking lot. Calls 911. The police take the report and they say, okay, so what happened was the guy took your stuff. You tried to get it back and he pulled out a knife and said, back off. So my employee backed off. That is an armed robbery at that point in time, right? They broke up that single crime into 2 separate police reports, a petty theft report and a brandishing report. Because they said, well, the theft happened here. You chased him a little bit and the brandishing happened over here. So we're making that 2 incidents. So it's not a Twix bar, not a Kit Kat. Here's 2 misdemeanors instead of 1 felony. That's how they juke the stats for crime. When with the homelessness, they say, we want homelessness to go down. So now you only count homeless in the evenings. We cut the homeless counters in half. And also, if you're in an RV, that no longer counts as homeless. Homelessness went down. And now that they want homelessness to go up so they can get more money for it, now we have more volunteers out there counting. Now we count at 3 a.m. and now we also count the people in RVs. Homelessness went up. We need more money. They never solve a goddamn thing. They only make the issue become worse. All these people are suffering more, and they try to say, money, please.
Spent in this state. Look at that.
That's a guy's house right there. You live right there. You're moving because you can't.
And you can't sell this either. This is insanely hard. Well, one thing, you're on the freeway, so it's like all that brake dust is just pouring into your lungs. But also the idea that it's hard to sell a home with this right there. Like, think about how much gates in how many fences he has there.
All the homeless.
Yeah,
Your children live here.
yeah, it's not passed for the street.
That's
Oh,
safe.
of course not. It's not safe. Look at that barbed wire. You're living in a war zone.
This is all about trafficking in human.
And it's crazy how you have all the celebrities at the Grammy Awards saying things like, ice out, this or that or whatever. It's like, yeah, they live behind barbed wire fences right here in communities that never even see a lick of this. Easy to say that when you got all that security and you don't live amongst it. Your kids don't play outside amongst it. Those guys are scumbags.
Misery. Look at this. So that's what we are going to be investigating in this video. The homeless industrial complex that feeds the Democrat Party and their donors in this state, and why they never want to solve
Any problem like that.
Makes too much money.
join us
It
for
washes money because it's just like education. Like when I voted recently, there was something on the bill saying we're gonna build something for the students or whatever. And it's like, I thought we already paid for that thing. No, they got the bond. They sold the bond to pay for the kids, but then they use that money on like a freeway because they use the freeway bond money on something else. They know if it's for homeless, it's for healthcare, it's for immigrants, it's for minority women. You're going to shovel the money out because you're a bleeding heart liberal. Same thing here. Homelessness needs to be taken care of. You see it everywhere. Don't solve the issue. Just keep fundraising on it. Just like, what was it? One of the early videos I did for this channel when this Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away and the new Supreme Court got rid of Roe v. Wade. They gave the rights back to the state. There was this girl there that was dressed all in green. That was a color that you're protesting against Roe v. Wade. I mean, the decision to repeal Roe v. Wade, even though they're in California, and also the federal government just gave the rights back to the state. California was losing no rights. No conservative state was protesting, just liberal states, so it was beyond regarded. But the idea you had these girls there that were all for the movement saying, wait, the Democrats had the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the White House. They never codified Roe v. Wade. But suddenly, now that they didn't do that and we lost it, now Nancy Pelosi says she needs me to give her money to save my rights. Why are my rights a talking point for your political career and not something you're accomplishing? I feel like I'm being tricked, and it's like they're starting to see the light. They're starting to see the game. Same thing's happening here. Don't solve an issue you can campaign on in perpetuity because your voters are fucking regarded.
this ride. It's going to be a wild one. Here we go.
California has poured $31 billion of state and federal tax dollars into fighting homelessness over the past few years. That adds up to $170,000 per homeless person. For perspective, that's more than the median price of a home in West Virginia. That's more than the total GDP of 91 different countries. So what's the result?
Nothing. Nothing. Abject poverty. Like the idea that we know that Governor Gavin Newsom can clean it up, because when China came over to visit at the Asian summit or whatever, overnight San Francisco looked like Elysium. Not Elysium, looked like a dystopian nightmare. All the homeless people magically disappeared. They turned all these encampments to planters and had gates and wires everywhere. They had like security. It's like, yeah, they could clean up homelessness. They could solve it. They just don't have the heart for it. Yeah, not cleaning it up is by design because they want you to sell your house at a super cheap price. Very sad.
Astronomical spending. Homelessness skyrocketed in California. They added 30,000 new homeless people.
Despite the deaths. The issue is so much bigger than we know it.
Decided to head to Venice Beach to talk to actual homeless people to see if they've received any of the $170,000 that Gavin Newsom has spent on them. Listen.
This is the cleanest I've ever seen Venice Beach. Again, I said I grew up on this little area, skateboarding all across the area. It was a good childhood. It has never looked this clean when I was there.
We're here on Venice Beach, one of the most famous beaches.
Yeah, look how clean this. I've never seen it like this. Something has changed recently.
In the world, and it is absolutely disgusting. It smells like piss and weed everywhere that you go, and there's homeless people everywhere. Let's go talk with some of them and ask, has Gavin Newsom done anything for you exactly? Nothing.
Yeah.
So have you guys seen any of that money? Has anybody...
No.
I got nothing. I'm still ready.
And one thing that I want to point out here is the pit bull here. It's sad you don't want to see the pit bull like living their lives in abject poverty and being there. But the scarier part is when they get the free housing. Again, I said I lived in LA. That's why I moved. They built one of those quasi halfway houses. They're drug users. It's a state-of-the-art apartment, but nobody can rent there. They just give them a voucher to stay there. They all get pit bulls as self-defense, like so they don't get attacked. But once you take these outdoor dogs and shove them in all these tiny little apartments where they're like multi-family units, like it's one small little unit, but you put two different strangers in it. There are so many dog attacks in these places. It's nuts, but it'll never go reported because it's just lawlessness.
Seen any of that money? Has anybody...
No.
I got nothing. I'm still right here.
Yeah, I didn't know there was that much money in it.
For $170,000, they could easily build longhouses with 50 to 100 hammocks in each one.
Have you seen any of that money?
No. $170,000. Have you ever gotten any payment?
Get payment for what?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
They're gonna find out to see where's the money going.
There are six.
Well, you know what is it? LAHSA. It's a Los Angeles Homeless something authority. Maybe chat knows. I forget what it was called, but I've seen them. I complain about them all the time. I work near a shopping mall. Anytime I went there to get a meal, I went there to get a coffee. You just see the Lhasa guys hanging out doing nothing. They get paid pretty well because I even looked online on what it took for me to get a job there. But they get all the money to do nothing. That's where it goes.
183 homeless nonprofits in California, over $1 billion in annual revenue. This is a massive industry. Take, for example, PATH, People Assisting the Homeless. This is a major California-based nonprofit.
This is not the one I live next to. It looked exactly like that. My apartment complex wasn't trash. It was just dated. I think my apartment complex was like from the 80s. It was a good unit compared to the one I lived in downtown. But it was nothing like the state-of-the-art stuff that I saw next door that my tax dollars purchased that I was not allowed to stay in. Obviously, you wouldn't want to be there. But then those guys that went into that quasi-halfway house, they set that thing on fire the first week it was there. It's sad.
Focused on ending homelessness. According to their IRS 990 forms, PATH has a total revenue of $181 million. That's grown exponentially in the past few years. It's up 13% year over year. PATH spent $70 million on salaries and benefits.
Oh, executive compensation, $1.7 million do not solve the problem. This is one thing I always hated about Biden. The economy was trash. The border was trash. Law and order was trash. Everything got progressively worse for Biden, and he seemed to take more time off. I remember when I had a regular job, if something was going wrong, even if I had PTO, I was driving into work no matter the hour. Something was on fire, I'm taking care of it. How do you get $1.7 million in salary, 1% of the expenses, and you're failing?
benefits alone in the past year. The CEO made over $300,000 this year. Man, you can really put a roof over your head in the homeless industrial complex. And hundreds of millions of dollars that California is spending on homelessness is going to fraud. Here's a report from just last week. $23 million gone.
This man was contracted with the city and county of Los Angeles to house and feed up to 600 homeless people, but instead he was misusing tens of millions of dollars to live a luxurious life.
Of course he was. Of course he was, because nobody starts a fraud out at like the max. It's always just a little bit of fraud here, a little bit of fraud there. It goes unchecked. So then all of a sudden the homeless spending goes up by 10 times the amount. And they wonder, how did this guy get all this nice stuff? It's like, because when he was buying a little bit of stuff, nobody caught him.
Zucker defrauded the city and county of LA out of $23 million in taxpayer dollars for not only his mansion and car, but a second home increase,
nicer car.
Luxury
I'm willing to
vacation,
bet this is a nicer car than anybody in chat is driving. It's sad.
designer clothes, and private schools.
Welcome to the world headquarters of Shangri-La Industries, a company that defrauded the state of California of tens of millions of dollars.
Literally Elysium, these giant ivory towers where these people with their $1 million salaries live, or $300 salaries, my mistake. They're there, while everybody else is in tent cities on the ground. Toyota RAV4 with a win, you got your bike. Yeah, it's Subaru. Yeah, we're living within our means, guys. District 9. Yep, that's what this is.
Saying that they would assist with the homeless when they can't even assist with the homeless directly outside of their world.
Imagine stepping over homeless people as you're going to your high-rise tower, collecting your 6-figure salary and saying, we deserve more.
Headquarters. They promised the state of California they'd build hundreds of units of affordable housing by converting old motels into homeless shelters. What did they end up doing? Stealing that money. Tens of millions of it went to pay for luxury goods, shopping sprees, expensive cars. It went to credit cards for Cody Holmes, who has now been arrested and indicted by
31 years old, getting away with all this fraud. This we should have saw this from a mile away. But just like in I almost said Somalia, just like in Minnesota, they allow the fraud to occur because we think the politicians are getting kickbacks. The same thing when they said, Tim Wall said, it's racist to find Somalian fraud. We're going to look into a little bit shortly, but Dr. Oz finds fraud that incidentally is from the Armenian community, and then Governor Gavin Newsom says, that's racist. I'm filing a civil rights complaint against you. It is happening. You've prosecuted people for it. You know it's been occurring forever. How does one state, one city, 1/5 of the entire country's home health spending? You know there's issues there, but calling it fraud or calling it racist is just making me think you are at the bottom of this.
For wire fraud. And that's just one example. There's a lot more. Let's go. Welcome to the Weingart Center, a nonprofit that takes hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars from the people of California and deliver.
I like how he's not even calling attention to it. You have this center here, and then you got homelessness. Homeless
skyscrapers at a cost of $800,000 per unit, including.
I thought it was $800,000 entirely. $800K per unit, guys. I'm like Steve Carell or Michael Scott in The Big Short. Guys, there's a bubble. There's a bubble. There's a bubble.
Lavish amenities like gyms, cafes, dog parks, city views, and
again, we see it physically, and all they have is CGI renditions. If if you took millions of dollars to build this facility that nobody is going to live in of my tax dollars, and then billions of my tax dollars, and then put it into that homeless shelter, and all you have is like ChatGPT tier renditions of what it should look like, there's a bubble. We got an issue, guys.
Studios. Homeless in California live better than you do.
Yes.
The Weingart Center is at the heart of a federal investigation into fraud overpayment on properties for homeless shelters.
Yes.
A real estate developer bought a former senior facility for $11 million using a fraudulent loan.
Of course.
And then they sold it to the Weingart Center for $27 million.
But I'm sure if you called this out, Gavin Newsom would be like, stop being racist.
the same week. That's a $16 million profit, leading to their CEO and real estate director to be placed on leave.
The absolute
please don't
hellscape
leave.
that is downtown Los Angeles. Drive through it. For every one open store, there are 10 that are closed, and that's because the homeless industrial complex has hollowed out downtown LA. There's literally nothing left. Some of these beautiful buildings, old theaters, some of the most gorgeous architecture you've ever seen left to rot and be graffitied, and that's because of fraud like the homeless industrial complex provides. For instance, Urban Alchemy is one of the
It's a beautiful building, and there's nothing in it.
that gets hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, Deloitte. Again, Elysium, one of the most profitable accounting firms next to abject poverty. I am starving. I'm gonna grab something. I'm gonna grab crackers right now.
From the California taxpayer. Urban Alchemy promised the city of LA that if they gave them millions of dollars, they would be building beds for homeless people. Let's go ahead and check in on that project, which a recent judge just called obvious fraud. Let's go.
The group received $3 million in taxpayer funds to build a safe sleep village in a parking lot.
That didn't cost $3 million. It's a basketball court with some tents. I could have done that for like $1,000 and just pocketed that money. That's probably exactly what happened.
That's filled with tents.
Welcome to the famous parking lot homeless shelter, where the city of Los Angeles was billed $200 per night for homeless individuals to sleep in a tent. By the way, half of the beds that they were promised were not built. A judge said this is
it was all
obvious
ChatGPT.
fraud.
They took millions of dollars to give you Mid-Journey's version of what this should look like and never did it.
And at a charge of $5,600 per month per person in a tent, one of the most expensive rents in all of LA. We are heading now to go.
Yeah, in LA, I think my one bedroom was probably like $1,500 at the time. Maybe that was like 3 years ago. That tent that never got built was more expensive than my rent for a one bedroom in an apartment with like good amenities, cool pool, cool gym, like on-site maintenance. Like it's a good place. 5 times that amount to pour a slab of concrete.
Steve Hilton. He is a Republican candidate for governor. He's doing great in the polls. And he has a location to show us that he says is the monument to homelessness fraud in LA.
My God.
It is a abandoned motel that is supposed to be a homeless shelter. And it was purchased for like $20 million. Nothing's apparently been done on it. It's still like an ongoing construction site. So we're gonna go talk to Steve Hilton and see what we can find out. Let's go. It's my boy, Steve Hilton. Here we go. Great to meet up with you.
Welcome to California.
Like, we didn't even plan this. We were here for something totally different, but
Somebody told me that he's British. I didn't know that. I'm leaning towards Chad Bianco because I'm kind of a Law and Order guy, and I remember what happened during COVID. But we'll see how it shakes down. Mel Gibson, he's a wild card. I don't think he can win, but I just watched The Patriot again. Who knows?
Just a lovely neighborhood scene to greet you, Benny.
team gave me this breakdown.
Unbelievable.
Billions and billions of dollars.
We looked at the whistleblower accounts that we had to identify the kind of areas to look into.
So you say that it could potentially be an estimated $425 billion worth of exposure.
And again, we're just finding more all the time. So you can just about make out there up there.
Okay.
You can see Ramada.
Right.
Scrubbed out.
Why don't we just go in?
Let's see what's happening.
This was bought with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah. Millions and millions and millions of them. And this was supposed to be done and opened in 2025.
They claimed
The speed rail all over again, except people are dying.
the people were here. The whole world of crony developers that get the money, they give political donations to Newsom and all the politicians. It is totally corrupt. Welfare state and corruption. That is what.
And here's the thing is, whether it be Mel Gibson, Steve Hilton, Chad Bianco, I would like all of them to campaign on jailing the people that did this. And I'm not talking about like a white collar slap on the wrist. You get a 10-year suspended sentence. No. I want whoever was committing the fraud and rubber stamping this fraud to be sent to a work camp built by Asmongold. There needs to be some sort of punishment for this level of fraud on our country.
What this is all about.
Goodness gracious. I can't believe that this construction project has been going on for 6 years and there's nothing's been done. How is this a $20 million construction project?
Roach Camp.
And again, that's what we know about. That's what they admit to.
And we pulled their 990s from the IRS.
Right.
They spent $200 million last year.
My
So it's
God.
federal HUD money that's going to this.
The scale of the money in California, it just dwarfs anything in Minnesota, and it's everyone who's watching. It's your money.
We are headed to chat with Sheriff Bianco, who
Nice.
is going to be meeting us in a really dangerous part of LA. Now, luckily, he's got a security team, and he's been fighting homelessness his entire life here in California. He's the single most popular sheriff in the state of California.
Yep.
He wants to be governor. He's doing great in the polls. He says he has a solution to fix California, Los Angeles, and to solve homelessness in 4 years or less. We are here with
Got a
Sheriff
4-year plan?
Bianco, who is the #1 leading candidate in the California gubernatorial race right now.
Yeah, that's even amongst conservatives and Democrats. Because the Democrats, who do they got? They got Kamala was rumored to want to run for governor. You had, I think, Swalwell, was he in it? But also, yeah, Swalwell, the Fang Fang's ex. You had, I forgot who else, but it's like the Democrats got nobody good to run. Not even for president. I think Bianco, he's got a shot at it. Oh yeah, Katie Porter, the lady that yelled at her, like,
Out on the streets.
was it her housekeeper in the background? Like, that video sunk a campaign amongst the left.
With us here, this beautiful scenic LA street.
It is. It is. Welcome to Los Angeles. It's every street you go on, you're going to find this. But the reality is this. We could fix this if we wanted. I've talked to a couple of the guys here. Morning. This is their life. This is where they live. The one gentleman that I spoke with this morning has been here for 20 years.
20 years on this street?
20 years.
Damn,
20
he has
years
a legit
downtown
security
here in
detail.
downtown Los Angeles homeless. Because we know there are billions of dollars of help out there.
Yes.
So why are we allowing this on the sides of our freeways, on our off-ramps? These are houses here. These are residential houses.
The same block
that
from
have-
before.
It's someone's business. Someone's trying to do business there.
This is a residential street. This is the reality of big cities in California that are completely mismanaged when you have so much money that it is easy.
But you said, how are they so content living like that? Because they're on drugs. Like, they're never conscious. They're just there floating around. It's sad.
To hide the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. And thank God that Minnesota happened. Thank God that Nick Shirley did that with what
Yep.
he did. Because what I thought was interesting is the day after Nick did that, social media all over started saying, yeah, but what
California.
about California?
Yeah.
California's got to be worse. And I was sitting there saying, yeah, it's way worse. And bring it on. How are you? What's your name?
Greg.
Greg, good to meet you, Greg.
Can we ask you a quick question? $24 billion has been spent on homelessness. That's $170,000 per homeless person. Have you ever seen any of that money?
Would you like it? How long have you been down here?
A year.
A couple years?
Yeah.
Are you from Los Angeles or did you come
Is
from
he
somewhere
wearing an
else?
Apple Watch?
If I created an environment where I could
No.
offer you a live-in facility to come get off drugs, get your life straight, get you some job training, and get you back out into the world, would you accept that? Would you be up for that?
It sounds nice. I like where he's coming from, but this is a dream scenario. Unfortunately, these programs have existed. It's never going to work. It's just sad. But I think that would be naive to think you're going to get all these homeless people on the street doing heroin, doing 8 bowls, shoplifting everything they could desire. They aren't. A very, very small percentage of them are going to say, you know what? Yes, I'd like to work at Starbucks instead, have a schedule, go to work, and not do drugs.
Yep. Yes. Good.
Yeah. Keep your head up and
Yep.
keep
What
going.
is
with it.
Evil says you have to get rid of the drugs. Yep. The only way this stops, cut the flow from drugs in the community. At some point in time, I think it was around Prop 64 in California, it was supposed to just, on the surface, make pot legal. I think a lot of people can agree with that. But not only did it say make pot legal, it made every single drug go down a classification in terms of like arrest. So what would usually be like having this would be a felony, went down to a misdemeanor, and then misdemeanors became infractions. And a lot of the time, I was not near downtown. I remember this vividly. There was a shoplifter, or was just a security guard, He leaves his backpack outside to come in. I think he like gave us his present slippers and took our pair of shoes. So when he went outside, I just stood in front of his bicycle. I'm like, hey man, like, come back with me. We're going to go in the store. We're going to talk about this stuff. You're going to sign some. Like, I'm not trying to make this a big deal. You obviously have a knife on you. You look like you're using drugs. Not getting stabbed over this store, but like, you know, I'm doing my job. I'm like, you know, just talking. It's like, no, he's freaking out. He's running around. Sprints away, right? So I have his backpack. I have his bike. And as he's running through the parking lot, he like sees me and then he thinks about it. Then he runs away. And I'm like, okay, that was weird. So then when I opened up the backpack, he didn't have drugs in there. He had the re-up. Like, he had weight on him. And I'm like, you have to be on some hardcore substances to try to run away with my fucking pair of shoes to leave behind the re-up. Like, this was the stash. So when I called 911 and said, hey, look, you know, this guy, I want to report a crime. But also, I have a large quantity of substances. I don't know what it is. It's vialed up, though. You guys got to come and pick it up. LAPD straight up told me, look, man, if I got to go all the way out there to pick up that backpack, I got to go downtown. I got to log it. He's like, do you have a sharps container? Like, you know, for like needles and knives and everything. I'm like, yeah, I have a sharps container. He's like, just put it in that so it can get properly disposed of. And I'm like, no, dude. Like, I have the re-up. I can become the kingpin of this area with this backpack. You got to come get it. And like, no. It takes too much resources. We got limited amounts of coppers today. Put it in the sharps container. And I'm like, this was like 3 sharps containers worth of substances. And I was like, all right, man, I'll get rid of it. But that's how bad it is over there. You got to get rid of the dealers. Prop 64 made it so they're not even willing to come out to get this guy's face. Like, yeah, Kingpin Decoy. I essentially could have become Kingpin Decoy. They should have figured out how to get rid of this. But no, they pretty much legalized it, and they wonder why they can't get a guy to come over, get free housing, get job training, because it's too easy for him to get substances. No, I'm not trying to sell. I actually was somebody that looked down on people that left their community instead of trying to fix it. Like, why are you guys all trying to take all the able-bodied men and come to a new community? You need able-bodied men to fix your community. But me, my family, I was just like, they're building this homeless shelter next to me in my part of LA. I gotta move out. I fled to greener pastures. I should have stayed and tried to been, not the resistance, but I should have tried to stay and make that part of LA better. I gave up on it. I moved on. So yeah, no, I wanted it to become better. I wasn't going to become part of the problem.
Going, and appreciate you talking to me.
You just walk by and engage with more homeless people than I've ever seen Gavin Newsom engage with.
Our politicians only come down here for political shoots.
Yep.
There's no way Gavin Newsom would ever walk and talk up to some random homeless person. I've been doing this for 32 years. A homeless person.
It reminds me when Gavin Newsom went to go clean up a homeless shelter at an encampment, and he was on video, and it's like, wait, it's hot outside, and this fucking idiot is wearing like a sweater to clean up stuff. It's like, that's not organic. And then Mayor Karen Basora, she was over there cleaning up graffiti after the LA riots, but she was wearing some fresh new Panda Dunks, and it's like, nobody's wearing their rare $200 pair of Nikes to clean up graffiti. Nobody's wearing a sweater during the summer to clean up a homeless encampment. Bianco is correct. They're not actually out there to solve the problem.
Person doesn't scare me. A criminal doesn't scare me. They're just people. They don't care about these people.
That walk right there, the sheriff just did more for homeless people than Gavin Newsom has ever done in that walk right there.
In the middle of our interview with Sheriff Bianco, we had a whistleblower reach out with bombshell evidence from the top levels of a homeless industrial complex nonprofit located in California. We confirmed their identity and confirmed their information, and what they told us was shocking. They told us that the homeless industrial complex isn't there to help out homeless people at all. We're missing the whole point. Here it is.
I just want to say thank you for this tip. So you believe or you know that the homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens?
No. What if it was like me on the phone?
What percentage?
50. Do they ask for any type of documentation or proof when you go in there?
They only ask for, like, if they have a passport or an ID.
You say that the shelters for the homeless are being used by up to 60% illegal aliens. and that they're able to just stay there and live for free and get everything that they need.
Yeah, they stay from like a year and a half, stuff like that. Sometimes it's like an entire family. It's gonna sound crazy. One of the shelters, this Russian family, they're driving a brand new BMW.
This is unbelievable. You see other luxury items like cell phones and stuff?
Oh yeah, everybody has new stuff. They dress well. If you see any of these people
One
on the
thing that
streets, you can't.
the misconception in LA, and I had to learn it myself, is you think of like traditional homeless people, like a lot of them, junky clothing, like in like Santa Monica, you'll see your traditional homeless looking person, sport coat in the summer, dirty pants, like barefoot, just dirty. Like you think of that of being a homeless, but no, the new like drug user homeless people that all across LA, they're always gonna look fresh because they don't save anything. They live in a backpack. Once their shirt gets old, their socks get old, their pants get old, they just go to a store. They swap out their clothing, have a brand new outfit, and just walk out because a lot of these places can't arrest them because they have whatever policies, and they always have brand new clothes because everything's free to them. It's disgusting. That's the way the system is. But yeah, you can sometimes when you're seeing them, they'll have a smartphone, they'll have their Obama phone, they'll have an iPhone, brand new shoes, brand new outfit, they'll have their EBT card. Homelessness doesn't necessarily look like traditional homelessness, especially in Los Angeles.
So they're homeless at all.
Unbelievable.
This other family, they came
Oh,
from Florida.
cocktail hobos?
Of course, you know, the things are getting harder over there for illegal immigrants in Florida. So they say, oh, come to California because everything is free. They'll give you anything. So just come down over here.
You said if they have a criminal history, it doesn't matter?
Well, of course, you'll get them. Yeah.
Wow. So do you not let the police in?
After the whole ICE thing all over the place, they placed signs everywhere that private property, they close the gates, they lock everything down.
What these are like extrajudicial embassies for criminal aliens, illegal and then potentially criminal, where they get to live for free on the taxpayer dollars and be protected from federal agents and police.
I wonder if these individuals are later told to vote. I just wonder.
Wow. You just blew the lid off everything. That's unbelievable.
So they're rallying protesters to come and surround us. We are not going to get help from LAPD. This is the reality of Los Angeles.
Oh, poor horsies, man.
I can't. This is crazy. So they're coming. So they're like
coming?
staging a mob, and the police say they're not going to help us.
Yes.
So we got to go.
We had to get out of this area fast before the anti-ICE protesters got
I
to
wanted to
us.
see
They
him.
didn't
We should.
want a
We should have had a
Minnesota
showdown.
scenario happening.
Come on, man. You're a YouTuber, Benny. I know he does other stuff, but you're a YouTuber. You got 6 million subscribers on YouTube. You got to be thinking with a thumbnail in mind. That would have been your thumbnail.
in our car and processed what we just learned from our whistleblower.
Our whistleblower just blew the doors off the whole California homeless industrial complex. Is it a front for smuggling criminal aliens into California using federal dollars?
Yes.
The whistleblower says 60% of California's homeless facilities are just free housing for illegals.
Yes.
Illegals that drive luxury cars and live lavish lifestyles.
Mercedes is one thing, but not this like 2005 beat down Mercedes. I wouldn't say this is a luxury car by any means. Like there's damage all over the side. No.
And that the well-guarded homeless shelters are actually designed to keep out federal
Well, I wonder if
agents
the well-guarded homeless shelters are like the Leering facility where there's no homeless inside, but they have gates up front.
Support these illegals, and we're all paying for it.
Yes.
Could this be true? The answer is yes. California law makes it a crime for a homeless shelter to even ask for citizenship status.
Wonder why.
You're likely to lose all funding if you do.
And I wonder if they can't ask for citizenship. It's not necessarily a citizenship thing. It's like you can't ask for identification. That's why you can get all these people in the shelter. And it's like, yeah, we served 1,000 homeless people at this one hotel, and they really only served 10. But since they aren't keeping identification records, it's easy to flub those numbers.
It gets even worse. A recently scrubbed article from the Weingart Center, remember the homeless skyscrapers, explains the operation further. Thousands of migrants get bused to cities like Los Angeles without properly planned housing. Migrants experiencing homelessness can be blocked from accessing housing, healthcare, food programs, and other forms of support.
The Weingart Center offers housing assistance along with comprehensive services such as healthcare, advocacy, and legal referrals.
Yeah, exactly. Why are we paying for their attorneys? I will never know. I mean, I do know. They're buying votes. But just who was able to pitch that saying, Decoy, you're working hard. You had a whole bunch of different business ventures that failed. They lost you a whole bunch of ton of money. You had multiple jobs that were going into this. But the one job, the one business excursion you had that was successful, that needs to pay for attorneys of people that got here legally. You legal migrant Decoy. How dare you? Insane.
Including those who are undocumented. The homeless industrial complex is a front for high-end services for illegal aliens.
Homeless industrial complex, it always been.
Weingart Center creates a welcoming community for the ever-increasing homeless migrant population. There they said it.
Yep.
The ever-increasing homeless migrant population. That is the goal. They're creating magnets to bring illegals to California from other states. Why?
Other states, other countries, though.
California is set to lose a catastrophic number of electoral votes in the next census.
Crowder had a good video about it saying if they're able to redo the census where they don't count, if they just see the change of population and also can start to change how they count people on the census, so no longer have immigrants, the electoral college changes so much, Republicans wouldn't even need to win the swing states. Just in the red states already, they would win every single presidential election. If you have the number of Americans leaving Democrat states to Republican states, changes the electoral college, on top of that, not counting illegal immigrants, the Democrats can't win by default. That's why they're doing this.
Population loss. The census counts bodies, not citizens. So California has used the homeless crisis as a cover to import illegals.
And I wonder, like, they count bodies, not citizens. If there's no paper trail, what goes to show they can't just flood the numbers? Hey, look, we got this apartment complex. Every single one of them had 10 African migrants in it, every single unit. So just up those numbers. They don't know that it could be easily lied about because there's no paper trail. This is a problem.
Boost their population and spend billions of your federal tax dollars on this operation. It's all for power. We checked out one of the homeless shelters named by our whistleblower in Hollywood, and you won't believe what we found.
We just had a whistleblower from inside of the homeless industrial complex here in California tell us that the entire system is rigged in order to get around federal law so that federal money can be used to house criminal aliens and their families. They buy luxury goods. They drive brand new sports cars. Some of them are from Russia, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, and they live for years inside of these homeless shelters, which are fraudulent and used to launder federal dollars to criminal aliens. And they come from all over the country here. And they said, you should check out Path in Hollywood. And here it is.
This brand new, everything that actually looks exactly like the rendition they made. Wow. My tax dollars built an amazing little facility. Let's see if it's doing exactly what they said it was.
This is the massive, used to be hotel that's happening all across California, where old hotels are being converted into homeless shelters. They're spending nearly $200 million a year in facilities like this one. Now, where's that money come from? 90% of all the money is your money.
Yes.
It's your federal dollars.
That guy back there is hearing this for the first time. He's like, wait, what? I'm working a blue-collar job and I paid for this?
According to our whistleblower, there's no checks on who's getting this assistance. This is federal dollars going directly to criminal aliens, and they've increased. Look at the size of this facility. Look at this. And they say that the people living here drive Mercedes as well. Look at this.
It's right there in the parking lot. A Mercedes.
Yeah, when I think Mercedes, I think G-Wagon, not that car.
This is locked down more than a prison. Path Villas, Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I bet you it smells nasty in the hallways. Yeah, I bet you it smells like a jail in there. It'll be disgusting.
Community. And it's surrounded by luxury vehicles. I mean, here's another BMW.
Okay, that's a problem.
But it's surrounded by these nice trees.
You can see some of the facilities inside.
There's nobody in there.
I mean, they look beautiful. They look empty, but they look beautiful.
Let's go around to the front. The reason why the facilities are on lockdown, according to our whistleblower, is because they want to prevent federal government forces like ICE from entering and from doing immigration checks.
So my tax dollars are not only mysteriously going to USAID, coming back through all these NGOs to pay for the riots in Los Angeles. My tax dollars are also going to building this building to house and protect them from federal law enforcement. This is, yeah, what do you call, Benny Johnson called this video, "The dark truth is worse than you can imagine." I'm actually learning something here. It is worse than we can imagine.
What our whistleblower is telling us is that this is simply a massive complex that is designed in order to get around federal law.
You can see it.
And these are like houses next to it. I feel bad for those people that live there.
It's really nicely funded. I mean, this is where $200 million goes. Look at the balconies. Look at people have plants up there. It's like people are clearly living here long term.
It's probably most likely one of these public-private, entities where like part of the housing is affordable housing. But I mean, you can see it's really nice.
Hey, what's up? Have you ever stayed at the Path shelter here? Yeah? What is it like in there?
It's like single studios.
Yeah. Good? Nice?
Yeah, it's actually.
And I've seen them where they have it's not a studio, it's like a bachelor. A studio has a kitchen, a bachelor has like a hot plate and a space for a mini fridge. I lived in a bachelor in LA. But also they have they don't all have their own bathroom sometimes. They have a shared bathroom area. And, this woman's also obviously on hard times. You're not going to judge her, but most of us would not want to share a shower with this individual.
They do any drug or alcohol testing at Path?
Not that me is aware of.
Did they demand that you be a U.S. citizen to use their facilities?
That I don't know.
No.
We've made a good faith effort to.
I honestly don't think this person would remember if they required it or not. But, again, not judging these people on hard times. You want to help these people. But we also don't live in a naive dream world that more tax dollars is going to solve her situation.
Reach out to the major.
A homeless female Asian is like the rarest. That's like a unicorn of homelessness. It is sad that it's got this bad.
Homeless nonprofits in LA with emails and phone calls. We got a hold of 0 of the facilities. They refused to get back with us or answer our calls. And so we called HUD. This is the Housing and Urban Development Director, Scott Turner, in Congress just a few days ago. Have a listen.
And we are auditing public housing authorities to ensure taxpayer dollars don't support illegal aliens. American dollars should benefit American citizens and American citizens only.
Why is this such an evil thing? My tax dollars should benefit me, not to be mean, but what could be classified as foreign invaders. U.S. tax dollars to U.S. citizens that are suffering. It's not something that should be controversial.
Reached out to the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development with the allegations in this report. Turner told us bluntly that HUD will not tolerate fraud. When we find it, we will act. HUD's Office of Inspector General will do everything in our power to prosecute and apprehend those who break the law. And then he pointed us to the prosecutions of a man in LA who stole $23 million from the American taxpayers just this week.
Again,
he said that
don't throw him in jail. Throw him in the, what do you guys call it? The Roach Ranch, Asmongold's work camp. They got to pay that back to the American people.
More prosecutions will be coming.
Good.
We hope our investigation leads to more.
This is some dramatic music,
what California could be without its thieving, criminal ruling class who has stolen the birth.
This is insane because we were in Santa Monica not too long ago, and when they took the homeless people off the boardwalk, they can't camp there anymore. You can't tell them they can't camp on the ocean front, so they're all littered across the sand. Like there's syringes, there's glass. This is not a safe place to walk barefoot. That's probably why he isn't. But this is looking very clean. I wonder what happened recently.
right of all Californians and, quite frankly, America to enjoy this state gifted in natural resources, potential, creativity. There was a time in California's history not too long ago where if you wanted to be anything, man, you moved to California. The movie business, media, space exploration, natural resources exploration, tech, and now those companies can't get out of here fast enough. They're fleeing because of what? The fraud, because of the mismanagement, the corruption, and the open thievery.
But the extra taxes that are about to pour on. Someone said they know someone that stepped on a syringe. I had some videos I would play on here. We used to, not on this side of the Santa Monica Pier, but the opposite side, we play glowing flag football at night. Glow beach flag football at night. It was amazing. There's lights off the pier. I had some lines that would be like the first down line, the end zone out of football. There was a glow in the dark. We had our glowing flags and everything. You'd have a little crowd for people watching you. It was amazing. But the last 2 times we went there is one time, a lot of broken glass. And I'm like, we're here at Barefoot. This is kind of dangerous. And the next time we went, we found a syringe uncapped in the sand. And I was like, you know what? This isn't worth it. One of us is going to get like hepatitis H or whatever from here. So we stopped playing. That's how bad it got.
That's happening here at scale because the rulers of California act like kings who would rather rule over the ashes than a functional civilization that could hold them accountable.
Pepsi.
And so you got to ask the question, when are the people of California going to do that? When are they going to wake up? When is the fraud
they left.
Stop? Make California great again.
Well, once your tax cattle is left, this can't be paid for anymore. And that's why they're trying to, get a federal government bailout. Like it's bad. It's only getting worse. That was a good video from Benny Johnson. What does Asmongold do every time? He'll copy and paste it. And if you guys want to check out his video or give it a like or whatever, I put in that should go to all the chats. So if you want to check out the video, give him a like. He's pretty cool. But the crazy thing is I saw a couple people. I like Benny Johnson. Okay. He's not a bootleg Nick Shirley. He's been around for longer than Nick Shirley. He's doing a good job. And it doesn't matter if Benny Johnson, how do I get back to the thumbnail? It doesn't matter if he's doing like a bootleg version of Nick Shirley's thing. The more eyes, the better. I don't like Mehmet Oz. I think he had. There was a bad campaign against, I don't know what it is, how to say it. There was a bad campaign against, who's the guy? Who's the guy he was running against? Fetterman. Ran? Okay. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the subscription. None yeast. Rund? Rang? Whatever. Fetterman post-stroke isn't bad. Kind of sad to say that, but no, I thought Oz was gonna be a rhino. Seems like he's doing pretty good in just the Trump administration, but I like that Benny's on it. I like that Nick is on it. I like that Dr. Oz is on it. The more eyes on it is good. I'm not like only the original Coca-Cola is good. No, competition is good. So Nick Shirley is over there looking at what looks to be learning centers in San Diego, but some guy over here was like, Nick Shirley is once again trying to film daycares and Head Start learning centers on Saturdays so he can shovel the stupidest slop to his MAGA followers and then sell sweatshirts. Kind of a funny way to phrase it, but the idea is they kept on saying he went during off hours. It wasn't off hours, but they're trying to push this narrative. This got almost 1 million views or 800,000 views, but then Nick Shirley showed the his screenshot of when he was there. It was on Thursday, so again, they're trying to push lies, but he's actually out there because he's effective. Like over in Minnesota, I almost said Minnesota. Minnesota, the Leering Center took the sign down and they're dipping out, man. They're going away. It's insane to think that this is actually working. But then, who is this? Amy Reichert. She was the journalist that was first finding the ghost daycares in San Diego, and now she's actually finding more stuff. So it's like, yeah. Even though she came after Nick Shirley, I appreciate what she's doing because she's working for us.
After what's been exposed with the daycares in Minnesota, I'm a licensed private investigator in California. I started looking into state records.
I thought she was just a journalist. Okay, so she's a PI. That's pretty cool.
And I found ghost daycares. These are places where the state inspectors showed up. There would be 28 kids enrolled, and there were no kids there in the middle of the day.
Huh, kind of sounds like exactly like another state.
and in the middle of the week.
All right, so a ghost daycare. Is that something Gavin Newsom could say, all right, we'll try to shut that down? Does he cooperate?
No, he'll probably call you a racist.
When you start raising this?
Good point, Bimmy, saying ghost kids need to layer too. Fair point, shut it down. Guys, we're racist for calling this fraud. Ghost kids need to learn too.
No, in fact, today it got word from the governor's office. There's been a directive to actually shut down public access.
Yes.
So right now you can't even search the own state website to.
Not suspicious at all. When they start finding fraud, do they say, hey, look, we've been arresting people for fraud. We want to, we want the kids to get education. That's how you know they don't care about the actual cause and effect of this. If they really wanted socialism to work, wanted all the kids to be educated, once they find fraud, they would go out of their way to say, oh shit, we found fraud. Time to prosecute the people that are defrauding the system. That money's for the kids. But when spooky conservatives find fraud, they don't say, let's go to arrest them. They say, go after this racist here because she's discovering the fraud of our system. Shut down their ability to investigate the fraud, meaning they don't care if the kids get the money or not. They care about getting their slice, and it's disgusting.
Look into these ghost daycares, but I have found a workaround.
Nice.
Okay, well, we don't want to tell the governor that you found a workaround.
Yeah,
so,
don't snitch
but
yourself
it does
out.
sound like he's trying to cover his tracks.
Yes.
Like this is a cover-up.
We're talking about billions of dollars in California. Today in New York, Kathy Hochul, she said she wants to increase child care subsidies to $4.5 billion.
Because child care subsidies sounds like something we can agree on. Only if it actually helps the kids. It doesn't, but they try to say, you don't care about the kids because they're worried you're going to figure out their scam.
We're talking about the same amount in California, if not even more.
Getting bad. I'm glad she's on our side. But here's the thing is we saw this video earlier about how Dr. Oz found this fraud. Until this person, Wall Street Apes, broke it down, I didn't really understand the severity of it. Because you heard this. We played it before.
One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. With almost 2,000 hospice agencies, LA County has more than 36 states combined, and 30 times more than either Florida or New York.
18% of the whole country's home healthcare billing is coming out of Los Angeles.
That's what was what Dr. Oz said. 18% of the whole country, LA County doesn't serve 1/5 of the population. Again, I'm not a math Asian, but LA County doesn't serve 1/5 of the population. How do they have 1/5 of the people of the country's home healthcare services unless it's, of course, fraud? How come nobody noticed this? Like in Minnesota, they found out, what was it, like the Somalian numbers of autism blew up like 1,800%. And they say, what is it? Oh yeah, 365 day a year, 1,900 patients. I think, what was that one, that Somalian food services program during COVID? Like, oh, the kids aren't in school, so they can't get access to school lunches. The kids are going to starve, so let's give money to them so they can serve the kids. But then they found out that they were feeding like something like 20,000% of the kids in that city. It's like, no, that's not mathematically correct. If there were safeguards in place, someone could have realized there's not that many people in that community that could have that disease. Somebody could have realized that there's not that many kids that need feeding in that tiny town. Somebody could have realized that we don't have 1/5 of the people that need hospice care or home health care in Los Angeles County out of the entire country. There should have been some sort of circuit breaker to notice that, but in California, under California Governor Newsom, of course we can get defrauded like this because he's a fucking idiot.
County. How is that possible?
And take a look at this map, a cluster of 287 hospice providers in a 2-mile radius.
2-mile radius, all of them are there.
Strip malls, unmarked buildings, even a wrecking yard and vacant lot.
And I said that in another video where it was on the street that I lived on, there was a whole bunch of rug stores and a whole bunch of cell phone repair stores. I believe there was like virtually 0 houses on my block. Some houses are older, but none of them were buying that many Persian rugs to keep 20 of those businesses in order. We were breaking our cell phones all the time, but we weren't getting repaired like that. all of that had to be fronts for money laundering. You can't convince me otherwise. But yeah, this is how Dr. Oz breaks it down. And again, he's just following Nick Shirley's lead. But I love the idea that a YouTuber, that he can be breaking into Jake Paul's birthday party or something, goes on his Mormon mission, and comes back and is influencing huge podcasters with 6 million subscribers, private investigators several states over, and Dr. Oz to start doing what he was doing to basically save the American taxpayer.
Hospices, they'll knock on your door. You're, an older person, and this young, healthy person says, "Oh, I love taking care of older people. I really want to be able to be part of your life. Can I help you? Listen, I can get you a free TV or something, but I want you to sign up for this program, which will help you get better care."
One of my commenters in the other video, they said, "Oh, they had the same thing where they were getting transportation." It was something to the effect of they were getting transportation. And the guy said, "Oh, they're taking him to like a methadone clinic. He's a junkie." And he said, "I didn't care back in the day when I was an addict, but the person that transported me there said, hey, look, how about you sign for me saying I drove you here 5 more times? I'll give you $50. They're defrauding the system, but as long as everybody gets a kickback, they don't care."
And what they're really doing is tricking the person to signing up to hospice. Yes. Now, Jillian, this is really important to understand. Hospice works for people at the end of their life. The deal is we will give you extra stuff to make sure you're comfortable. In return, you give up your Medicare. You give up access to all the regular care you would normally get. And the company that does this takes that money that we would have paid to Medicare for you and uses it to make your life more comfortable. Now, if you're not ready to die because you're not terminal, when they do this, they pull you into a different system. They now no longer let you go back and get regular care. And I talked to a family whose loved one died. Her brother died after this happened because he could not get regular care afterwards, even though he was very treatable.
How is it legal that they can get you off the regular medical system into like this private company? Like, this is, I don't understand this. I genuinely don't understand this.
Now, let's go back to the story. Okay. Why do I think this is happening? Jillian, if I told you were terminal, dying of cancer, God forbid, the chance of your dying should be, in many cases, 70, 80, 90% over the next 6 months. It won't be 100%, but it's going to be pretty high. The mortality rate for many of these hospices, follow the bouncing ball, is 0. No one dies.
I've heard this where they said, ask cops, like beat coppers in like, not Minnesota, in Minnesota, how many heart attacks do they respond to in the Somalian community? And all of a sudden they start thinking, it's like, well, actually, I haven't gone to any 911 calls of heart attacks, natural deaths in a Somalian's home. And they're thinking, it's just anecdotal, but they're curious if this is a case of they want to keep collecting the benefits. So when they pass away, they do something to the body. Kind of scary that there's no failsafe on this about how do you have a whole bunch of the #1 spending in hospice care, but also the #1 spending in 120-year-old individuals receiving welfare checks. Either there's fraud, or these hospice care centers have discovered the secret to immortality. Fraud, immortality, either way we need to investigate it, and it's not racist for us to look into it. For them to call it that makes me think it's fraud.
Now, that's highly unlikely. That you got it all wrong.
They have the
Nobody
elixir
died on your watch.
Could you imagine? Take this all aside. We think we're dealing with fraud, and they actually found the secret to eternal life. They have the elixir. Like, the bananas is what keeps them living forever. Like, this would be the wildest knuckleball. But at this point in time, I'd believe anything.
50 patients, they don't have to report. We don't actually know what's happening. Are they fake patients? Are they tricked patients? Are they patients that weren't going to die and they should never have been on hospice?
Or they just don't exist outright.
Are they people with Alzheimer's who might not die in 6 months? It's a mix, but these companies hide behind this. And this is the problem. When I met with the U.S. Attorney in Los Angeles, he was furious that he had not gotten leads to act on because you actually need to understand how these scoundrels work. And they are diabolically clever. And I'm going to say it again. Many of them are foreign nationals supported by foreign governments. They send their money back to where they came from originally, and they escape to those countries.
It's not, the word isn't recidivism. It kind of sounds like it. I always forget it. It's when they send the money, not remission. What is it, chat? What is the word when you send money back home? I want that to be looked at. If you have anybody under like getting welfare, the what is it, chat? we need to be seeing if they're sending any money back. If they're sending any money, remittance, yeah. If there's any remittances, you cut off all the benefits, top to bottom. I don't even care if it's like Medicare or if it's like, whatever. Remittances should be taxed 90%. We don't need to be enriching anybody back home whatsoever. That should be going back to the American taxpayer. But also, how come this isn't a thing? I don't even care if it's like somebody, I've known a lot of them. They come over, they have like work visas. They'll work at like a restaurant. I had a lot of coworkers like that. Send all the money back home, have their non-married wife collect welfare benefits, be here, they'd live off of that, and all the money goes back home to grandma back there. They're being a good son. That's not how the system should work. They're depressing the wages of like the teenagers like me at the time trying to work there, because if there's a whole bunch of cheap labor, they don't have to pay me more to work there. Those remittances should be taxed at 90%. How come this isn't being looked at? I don't know. We know why. Fraud.
When we come after them, which is why my job is to stop just trying to put them in jail, but actually act to never let them get started in the first place, which is why I came to Cal.
Roach Ranch. Somebody let Dr. Oz know about Roach Ranch. It's a work camp that they can make up all the money they lost in fraud. If you defrauded the American government $100 million and you spent $40 million of it, give us back $60 million, but you are going to work off that remaining $40 million. Your jail sentence isn't a timeline. It is a dollar amount at Roach Ranch.
California, visited with whistleblower groups, patient advocates. You know, some of our biggest allies in these investigations are the legitimate providers of hospice and home health care.
Perfect, because they know the deal. And that's the thing, is I had a coworker that had left our regular security guard job because he was on the side, because he had a truck transporting medical equipment. I'm not going to try to dox him, but it was a very specific, heavy medical equipment that is hard to transport and also hard to set up. So it's like, there was a lot of end-to-end care. Picking it up, taking it to the patient, getting him hooked up. It's a long, long thing. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I wonder how much. I know he was doing it because I've seen him do it, and I know it's hard work. He got paid handsomely for it. I wonder how many of his competitors were just flubbing the numbers and saying, we delivered 20 of these devices to 20 patients. When it never happened, they just gave some kickbacks to some people. I wonder. And I'm sure if you gave my former coworker saying, hey, if you find this fraud, 50% of the recovery goes to you as a commission, he'd be able to quit his job and do nothing but do essentially what we were investigators, investigate competitors, because he knows that industry top to bottom. I want that to be a thing.
Because, for example, the home healthcare business is being decimated around the country because so much of the money is getting sucked to Los Angeles. There's not enough left for the rest of the businesses, so they're actually shutting down. So they want us to do our job, and that's why I'm asking Governor Newsom, do your job. Stop obfuscating. Don't pretend. This is a real problem.
Stop saying it's a civil rights violation. Define fraud.
People are dying. Act that way.
Yeah, exactly. Act like your country is suffering. Or not your country. Act like your state is suffering. Act like you need to do something other than write snarky tweets to Trump and then fly over to Davos, Switzerland to have your Trump brand knee pads and go cry about Trump. It's like you are literally the ex-girlfriend of the high school quarterback that still shows up to all his games, travels overseas to watch his game so you can say, hey, Trump, I have some knee pads for you. Absolute absurdity. But is he looking into this? No. Trump had a Vogue magazine article written about him, and it's so bad. It is so bad. Like, you look at this. This is Chinese style propaganda. This is Kim Jong-un level propaganda. His Vogue.com article. I can't stand to read so much because it's so ridiculous. But it starts out saying, let's get this out the way. He is embarrassing. This is like a meme. This is a meme saying he is embarrassingly handsome. His hair seasoned with silver, at ease with his own eminence as he delivers his final state of the state. I can't imagine he didn't write this himself. In Washington, the president believes that might makes right, pronounces California Governor Newsom, secret police, business raided, citizens smashed, citizens detained. Oh no. Citizens shot, masked men snatching people, blah, blah, blah. His tone is temperature, but words echo through the state capitol's assembly chamber, the August backdrop for his speech. Line up, whatever. Let's see. It must drive Trump nuts. The lithe, ardent, energetic glimmer of optimism in his eye, Kennedy-esque. I wonder. See, look, there's the M dashes. I wonder if this is ChatGPT. This is nuts. This is nuts. Like, there's no way. There's no way this wasn't him. He's embarrassingly handsome with his eminence lithe. Oh, it's so bad. This is what he's doing. Meanwhile, one of his premier tourist destinations, 3rd Street Promenade. I used to work on it. It was my favorite place to go. On bright sunny days like this, it'd be packed top to bottom. Look how far it's fallen.
This is...
Yeah, I can't do the music, but it's gotten bad. There's nothing but empty buildings. And you know what their solution for this was? I think it was not because Santa Monica is oddly not part of Los Angeles. But Santa Monica voted to say, if we're more like Vegas, where you can open container drink, you can go to all the restaurants, we can make it like a hub of like cool people like to hang out and everything. Never mind the violence, never mind the homelessness, never mind the poo everywhere. They thought open container laws in Santa Monica Pier, only for the wealthiest restaurants and bars, will save this. No, it's beyond gone. No article saying how handsome you are and how lithe and ardent or whatever nonsense words he has is going to save for the fact that there is rampant levels of fraud. Benny Johnson, Nick Shirley, who's the other girl? Dr. Oz and Amy Reichert. All these people are like the super friends of finding fraud and ending Newsom's career, which is already going to be over. It doesn't really matter at this point in time. But his career is over. He still has these weird aspirations of being president by writing these weird articles and snarky tweets that apparently he doesn't even know about, trying to play both sides of the field, saying, this is a civil war, and also talking to Ben Shapiro, we need to tone down the rhetoric about Donald Trump and his ICE agents. He stands for nothing other than what he sees in the mirror. He is quite possibly the worst politician in America, and I'm glad to see the end.